Hi friends, welcome to all. In this video we are going to configure a basic routing information protocol version 2. Friends, before coming to this lab activity, if you like to get my future uploading video info directly into your Gmail, consider to subscribe. Here we can see our topology diagram. We will build and design this topology diagram on this Cisco packet tracer. Also, we can see here addressing table. We will configure all the devices as per this addressing table. Here we can see objectives. We will go through the objectives. In part 1, build the network and configure basic device settings. In part 2, configure and verify our RIPv2 routing. So in that, here we can see configure our RIPv2 on the routers and verify that it is running. Configure a passive interface, examine routing tables, disable automatic summarization, configure a default route, and verify end-to-end connectivity. We will also go through this background because here they're given some information regarding this RIP. Here we can see RIP version 2 is used for routing of IPv4 addresses in small networks. RIPv2 is a classless distance vector routing protocol as defined by RFC 1723. Because RIPv2 is a classless routing protocol, submit to mask are included in the routing updates. By default, RIPv2 automatically summarizes networks at major network boundaries. When automatic summarization has been disabled, RIPv2 no longer summarizes networks to their classful address at boundary routers. Here in this lab, we will configure the network topology with the RIPv2 routing, disable automatic summarization, propagate a default route, and use CLI commands to display and verify RIP routing information. Here they given a note. Make sure that the routers and the switches have been erased and have no startup configurations. If you are unsure, contact your instructor. So anyway, here in this lab activity we are going to use our Cisco packet tracer. We are not going to use the real routers and switches. So if you are using the real routers and switches, we have to make sure this information. Here we can see required resources. We need 3 routers, that is Cisco 1941, 2 switches 2960, 3 PCs, console cables, and we are going to do in our Cisco packet tracer. Then we need these cables, Ethernet and serial cables. Coming to part 1, build the network and configure basic device settings. We will do this part 1. In part 1, you will set up the network topology and configure basic settings. So here we got a total 5 steps. We will go through that. Step 1, cable the network as shown in the topology. Step 2, initialize and reload the router and switch. In step 3, configure basic settings for each router and switch. And here we can see those basic settings: disable DNS lookup, configure device names as shown in the topology, configure password encryption, assign class as the privileged exec password, assign Cisco as the console and VTY passwords, configure a message of the day banner to warn users that unauthorized access is prohibited, configure logging synchronous for the console line, configure the IP addresses listed in the addressing table for all interfaces, configure a description for each interface with an IP address, configure the clock rate if applicable to the DCE serial interface, then copy the running configuration to the startup configuration. Then in step 4, configure PC IP addressing, refer to the addressing table for IP address information of the PCs. And in step 5, test connectivity. Here they given at this point the PCs are unable to ping each other. Each workstation should be able to ping the attached router, verify and troubleshoot if necessary. Then the routers should be able to ping one another, verify and troubleshoot if necessary. So we will do this first. First of all, we will build and cable this network as per this topology. Coming to our Cisco packet tracer. Here we are going to use this router 1941. We required 3 routers, then we required 2 switches, 2960 switches, then 3 PCs. Now we are going to rename these devices as per our topology. This is PC-A, this is PC-B, and we have PC-C. Also we have this switch S1 and S3. On the router, this is R1, R2 and R3. Before coming to the cabling, we have to add a serial interface for these routers. We will switch off this router and we will add this serial interface and we will switch it on. Coming to R2 and in R3. Now we will select this DCE, serial DCE, and from R1 serial 0/0/0 to this R2 serial 0/0/0, and from R2 serial 0/0/1 to this R3 serial 0/0/1. Now we will select copper straight through. Coming to this device R2, we will give 2 gigabit Ethernet 0/0 and to this PCB. Coming to R1 G0/1 to F0/5. Here also G0/1 to fast Ethernet 0/5, and here fast Ethernet 0/6 to this PC, fast Ethernet 0/6 to this PC. We will name all the interfaces so that it will be more easy while doing the configuration. Here we have this node. This is G0/0. And here we have serial 0/0/0. And we have seen this side is a DCE. Here we can see that clock. Also here we can see DCE. This is serial 0/0/0, and here we can see serial 0/0/1. This is also serial 0/0/1. Here we have a G0/1. Here also we have a G0/1. This is fast Ethernet 0/5. This is also fast Ethernet 0/5, and here we have fast Ethernet 0/6. Done. Now we will do the basic settings on the routers. First of all, coming to the router R1, CLI. Here continue with the configuration dialog. No, we will configure, enable configure terminal. First of all, we will disable DNS lookup. No IP domain lookup, and we will configure the device name. This is host name R1. Also we will give password encryption, that is service password encryption. Also we will give privileged exec password, enable secret a specified class. Also we will go to line vty 0. Before that we will go to line console and line console 0, and we will set the password as specified Cisco. Also we will go to line vty 0 to 15, password Cisco, login. Also we will set motd message, banner motd. We'll start with the dollar symbol, unauthorized, access is prohibited. Now we will give logging synchronous for the console line. For that we have to go to line console 0, and here we will give logging synchronous. Now we will set IP address for the each interface on this router R1. We will check the IP address. Here we can see two interfaces on this device R1. For this interface G0/1 we have to set the IP address. Here is that. I will copy this address, and also we can see the subnet to mask. So we have to go to the interface gigabit ethernet 0/1, and we will set the IP address. Here is that, and the subnet to mask 255.255.255.0, and no shut command. Now we will give the description for this interface. Here we are going to give the description. We will give the IP address of this interface. Also we are going to copy running config to startup config. So here we can see the details. Now IP domain lookup, here we can see this password is encrypted, line vty password. In this router we have to configure the interface serial 0/0/0. Also we will get the IP address. Here we can see that. Also we can see the subnet to mask here. Coming back to R1, configure terminal, we have to go to that interface serial 0/0/0, and we have to set the IP address. So here is that. Also the subnet to mask 255.255.255.252. No shut command. Also we will set the description as this IP address of this interface. In our addressing table, here we can see this interface serial 0/0/0 is DCE. So we have to set time clock rate for this interface, but we can see there will be a default clock rate set. We will check that with the help of show running config, and coming to serial 0/0/0. Here we can see that clock rate. So once more we will give a copy running config to startup config. Now we will come to the router R2. No. Enable configure terminal. Here we are going to disable DNS lookup. Now IP domain lookup. Also the host name as R2. Service password encryption for password encryption. And now here we will enable secret password as a class. Also we will go to line console 0, password Cisco, login. Also we will give logging synchronous. Now we will go to not line console, line VTY 0 to 15, password as Cisco, login. Also we will set banner MOTD, unauthorized access is prohibited. Now we will set the IP address for the interface for this router R2. Coming to our addressing table, here we can see 3 interfaces and its IP address and subnet to mask. First of all, we will configure G0/0. Here we can see that IP address. We will copy this address and coming to our configuration, we have to go to the interface G0/0. Here we are going to give the IP address and the subnet to mask 255.255.255.0 and a no-shut command. Also we will set the description for this interface as its IP address. Now we will get the IP address of the next interface, that is serial 0/0/0. Here we can see that 10.1.1.2. We will copy this address. Also here we can see the subnet to mask. Coming to the configuration, we will exit and we will go to that interface serial 0/0/0, which is connecting to the router R1. IP address, here is that, and the subnet to mask 255.255.255.252. Also we will give no-shut command and also the description as its IP address. And finally we will configure serial 0/0/1, that is DCE. Here we can see the IP address and the subnet to mask. Coming to that interface, directly we can give here interface serial 0/0/1 and we will give it the IP address. Here is that address and the subnet to mask 255.255.255.252. No-shut command. Also we will give the description as its IP address. Now we will give a copy running config to startup config and we will check the configuration, show running config. Now IP domain lookup. Here we can see the IP address of each interface G0/0. Also serial 0/0/0. Here we can see that. No clock rate, and for this interface we can see serial 0/0/1, the clock rate. IP address, everything is correct. Now we are going to configure the router R3. Now enable configure terminal. First of all we will disable DNS lookup. Now IP domain lookup. Also we will set the host name as R3. We'll enable secret as class. Also service password encryption. Now we will set banner MOTD. Unauthorized access is prohibited. Also now we will go to line console 0, password as Cisco, login. Also we will give a logging synchronous. We'll go to line VTY 0 to 15, password as Cisco, login. Now we will set the IP address for the interfaces. Here we can see R3 gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Here we can see the IP address. I will copy this address. Also we can see the subnet mask. Coming to R3, we will go to the interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1 and we will set the IP address as specified in our addressing table with subnet mask 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Also we will set the description as this interface IP address. Now we will get the IP address of the next interface of the device R3. Here we can see that serial 0/0/1 IP address is here, and also we can see the subnet mask. Coming to the configuration, here we will go to the interface serial 0/0/1 and we will set the IP address with the subnet mask 255.255.255.252. No shut with the description as its IP address. Now we are going to save the configuration. Copy running config, startup config, and we will check the configuration now. Show running config, and here we can see the details. G0/1, also serial 0/0/1. Coming to our topology, here we can see this interface is down. We will check that. We'll come to R2, show IP interface brief, and here we can see the details. Here we can see this status is up, but we can see protocol is down. Here we are using straight through cable, so what we will do, we will connect using crossover as a PC and a router both are the same device, so we will connect using a copper crossover cable G0/0 to this PCB. Here we can see now it's working. Now coming to our addressing table, here we can see the device S1 and S3. No need to set any address for this device, but better we will set the host name for this device. Coming to S1, enable configure terminal, we will set the host name as S1. Copy running config to startup config. Also coming to S3, enable configure terminal, host name as S3. Copy running config, startup config. Next we are going to configure this PC's IP address as per our addressing table. Here we can see a PCA IP address. We'll copy this address, and we can see subnet to mask, also it's a default gateway. Coming to PCA, desktop IP configuration. Here we are going to give the IP address, subnet to mask, and the default gateway 10.1. And here we can see PCB IP address, subnet to mask, and the default gateway. Coming to PCB IP address and default gateway. And coming to PCC, copy this address, right, subnet to mask, and then the default gateway. Coming to PCC, desktop IP configuration, We have to change the subnet to mask, then the default gateway. Now we are going to test the connectivity. We are going to ping from this PC to this router gateway, also from PCC to its gateway, also from PCB to its gateway. We will get the IP address. Here is that. I will copy this address. Coming to PCA, command prompt, ping to. Here we can see we are getting the replay. Now we will ping to this gateway from PCB to this gateway. Ping to G0/0, we are getting the replay. Now we will ping from PCC to this G0/1 in this router R3. Here is that IP address. Coming to PCC, ping to G0/1 on R3. We are getting the replay. Also, we will test from R1 to R2 and R2 to R3. Here I am going to use this PDU from R1 to R2. Here we can see it's successful. We will try from R2 to R1. It's successful. Now from R2 to R3, it's successful. From R3 to R2, it's successful. In this lab activity in Part-1, we built the network and configured the basic device settings. And in Part-2, we will configure and verify our RIPv2 routing.